Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another podcast session. My name is Baron, aka King Kurt, and I am presenting a guest here, Dorrian Mckenzie. Mckenzie, can you tell me a bit about yourself or tell the audience about yourself?
First of all, I just want to thank you for allowing me this privilege on your platform to speak. It's a great privilege. Thank you. Thank you again. First of all, we give God thanks for the opportunities we afforded to every day. And I'd like to get that all done. My name is Dorrian Mckenzie. I'm in the military. Been in the military for 18 years. Father, husband, love fitness. I'm a straightforward individual, disciplinarian, but I like to have fun as well. But the people that are close to
Hardworking.
me, yeah, extremely hardworking, extremely passionate about whatever tasks or duties that's put on me as well.
Okay, Dorian, I appreciate that. And like you said, you are extremely passionate and hardworking. That ambition, I'm sure, has led you to many different aspects of your life in ways of self-improvement and development to be who you are today. So it leads me to ask the question, what is a life lesson you learned from a young age that few persons seem to ignore?
That's a really good question. I could go with a few, but the one that stick with me the most, especially at a young age, there's absolutely no substitute for hard work. We live in a society that glorifies instant, fast, whatever it is we seek. We glorify things the fast way or the easy way, I should say. Me in particular, from a young age, I understood that the gratification you get from hard work, something that's hard, and particularly something that you thought you couldn't do before you've done it, and the feeling you get after you've completed a task, it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. And I try to teach my kids that at this age they are. I have 3 girls, so I try to instill on them, hey, I'm hard work. Don't let no one else tell you otherwise. It's hard work. It's not going to be easy. Of course not. The difficulties of it makes it worth it in the end.
Okay, so what you're saying, just so I can understand, a lot of persons would try to chase the dopamine and this quick, fast dopamine hits where they have easy tasks that bring out a big dopamine response, like watching TV or gambling or that quick money or that fast money
Make
or
money.
easy tasks to get themselves together. And what you're saying, however, is the complete opposite or the contrast of what everyone else is saying. We should strive for something that's initially but you didn't believe was possible, do things that seem to be out of bounds, right?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely
Okay.
correct. It's on the lines of and particularly there's gonna be people that are gonna doubt you. People are gonna doubt you. Trust me when I say that. From all different angles. People close to you, people far from you. But that's the beauty of it. You let the doubt fuel you. Let it be your fire. People said you can't do it, they do it. Prove them otherwise.
Have
That's
you
what I
ever
believe
been
in.
doubted?
Plenty times. More than I could count. More than I could count. But at my age now, I realize the doubt itself only got me stronger. Only got me to the place that I am today. So if someone could doubt me now and I just laugh. Just laugh. You don't know me. You don't know my capability. Yeah, you tell me no. Yeah, keep telling me no. I'm show you otherwise.
And that's the fuel of your fire, essentially.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. And you mentioned that you have beautiful daughters, and I'm sure that you teach them and grow them up so well. Being a father of 3 daughters takes a lot of responsibility, I'm sure. I'm not a father, and I hope to be one day, but it's a big responsibility for sure. How has your responsibility, growth, and development, how did you process that actually when you first had your first daughter?
Well, I also heard the saying before I had kids, and I didn't realize how true it was after my kids, and particularly my first daughter. You don't know how selfish or selfless you are when you have kids. Trust me, as it's no longer about yourself. It's no longer. It's about them. But it's the most rewarding job.
Really?
Seeing them grow from infancy, toddlers, that I still have a 4-year-old, soon to be a 6-year-old, and a 15-year-old. But I can remember each one of them as babies. To see them today, it gives me tremendous amounts of joy. I prioritize just spending time with them. Any opportunity I have, just to spend time with them.
And I'm sure they love you as well. Most definitely.
Yes.
They like their daddy for sure.
Yes, yes.
Wow. It's it's really interesting that you say that because I've spoken to a few men, and men oftentimes will say that they almost ran away from the responsibility of having children or bearing children. And from what I'm
Yeah.
getting, you kind of embrace that. You're on the flip side.
I embraced it full on, full on. Because and the main reason, right, I can't go further without saying how much I love and adore my wife. She is my backbone. She is indeed my right arm. In fatherhood, I grew up without a father, without a father figure. And I always said to myself, the minute I had the opportunity to be one, I'm gonna take the responsibility full on, no matter what it takes, and I'm gonna be there for them. Like I said, I prioritize time and experiences because those are memories will last a lifetime. So I embrace it. I embrace it.
You brought up another good point that led me to ask because I was speaking to someone just before I spoke to you, and what she said was men today have a blueprint on what not to be as a father with the increase in single mothers and young boys being brought up by single mothers and them having a blueprint on how not to be a good father. Do you think that is enough, having a blueprint on what not to do to grow and become a good father?
I wouldn't say it's enough, but it's a good step. But father takes a serious level of maturity. A serious level of maturity, knowing that hey, it doesn't matter how I'm feeling or how my day was. Once I get in these doors, I have to accept my role and be there for them. And be number one, be the superhero. So it just takes a level of, like I said, maturity. You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot. And the sacrifice is worth it. I must say, it's worth it.
I This is so interesting because the things that you're saying is just bouncing from one thing to the next because a lot of what we spoke about is being brought right back into this conversation. When you spoke about you taking on that responsibility and almost sacrificing, that was the answer what I got when I asked persons what is love. And they said love is sacrificing or being selfless. And I want to also bring up the point where you said in the last interview or conversation, I said that love is acceptance. You,
Yes.
and I'm sure you love your daughters and you love your wife. And I could feel that through the screen and I'm talking, I could feel the passion. So
That's all.
I'm sure that you accept each and every last one of those personalities and individuals that may change, and words can't even describe the waves and turns of events that happen on a day-to-day basis or the hours that may change. So
It's a roller coaster.
it is a roller coaster, right?
It's a roller coaster.
And I'm sure it's not easy, I'm sure, but what is something that helps keep you stable or grounded in who you are as the masculine role in the house?
um, I think it's knowing that they depend on me so much and knowing that I have that job to be there for them just keeps me going. That hey, if I call on daddy or if I call on my husband to be there for me, he's gonna be there. And that level of responsibility just makes me even wanna go even harder. I don't run away from it. I just like we said earlier, I embrace it because I know at the end of the day, at some point, they're gonna get older. They're gonna remember the conversations we've had, the experiences we shared, and they're gonna say, "Hey, God was there for me every step of the way." Until they get there, I'm just gonna keep on pushing on.
Wow, this is very heartwarming. I'll tell you already. This is very heartwarming because I, as an individual, a young man myself, I would want to have the level of selfless love and passion for my family as you have. I haven't quite made it there as yet. I don't want to rush into such a responsibility or obligation, but when the time does come, I am very willing and eager to embrace that responsibilities and set purpose because, and I'm sure you could attest to this, but having a family and having persons that rely on you, you already said, makes you keep going or go further. And when it comes to financial opportunities, you're more eager to grab onto financial opportunities, or you're more willing to push beyond the regular limitations or restrictions because you have people that are relying on you. How do you resonate with situations as such?
Speaking in terms of finances.
Yes. How has having a family affected your finances in good and bad ways?
Yeah, this is a very, very good question. All right, so I might spoke to you about knowing before having kids, knowing how selfish or selfless you are.
Yes.
Um, once you start off, I'm sure many people out there can speak to this. Once you start off more than one child or children, the grocery bill starts to extend now. It starts to extend. It starts to extend, and but what I believe in is having multiple streams of income, being fluid with your finances. I believe in investing, things of that nature. But having a family is even more so because you have to think about having emergencies, especially with small kids, medical emergencies. Then you think about vacations, traveling, like we spoke about the experiences. I remember the first time I took my kids away, and they was just mesmerized. The look in their eyes, mesmerized. And seeing them experience that made me feel so good. It wasn't cheap by no stretch of the imagination, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
How was your emotion taking your wife and kids to a foreign country the first time? What was that like emotionally?
Okay, so I had to hold it down because especially my two younger girls,
Uh-huh.
the moment they got into another country, they just was all over the place. Like seeing things for the first time, driving on the highway, they were like literally kids in a candy store. But I had to tell my wife like, hey, the kids, they're gonna do certain things. We're gonna have to say, let them be kids. Still
Yes.
right them in the wrong, but a lot of times we're gonna just let them be kids. Let them enjoy the moment. Because they look back at this and say, hey, remember when we did this? Remember we were in this place and that place? It's just the beauty of it all, man. But emotionally I had to be the stern one, the straight face one through the entire thing. But still letting them enjoy it. You know? Don't be too stern where you're not allowing them to enjoy uh, the moment.
So what about stress? Were you nervous? Were you scared?
I wasn't afraid. I was a bit anxious because I didn't know how they were gonna accept it. But after the first day or two, I was pretty calm. I was pretty calm.
I I think about it. 'Cause I can think about it now. I had a girlfriend that I went away with once, and it wasn't terrifying for me. I was nervous, just as you said, and things didn't go exactly according to plan. Imagine you're going and your card is blocked because you're in a foreign country
Oh,
and you have to rent a vehicle and you can't rent a vehicle without a card. So now for her, it seemed like I was ill prepared. And
mm,
because I seemed ill prepared, she started to be anxious and started to be afraid and started to rally up whatever emotions that came within me. Luckily, we made it back in one piece, of course, and we got everything sorted out. But the reason why I asked that question is because it would be terrifying for some people. I
yeah,
think
but
for me, taken, or at least it would be nervous. You don't know what could happen. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if things are going to go according to plan or things are going to go left field. You could plan for everything to go according to plan, and it don't go according to plan at all, and it just
that's
tumble
good.
on down the line. And you could imagine that's day one for a week. My goodness, I commend you once again.
Thanks.
The type of father that you're you're telling me you are so far, and I do believe it to be so. I can respect it, definitely, and
I'm
I'm sure yeah,
before not to cut you off, before we go any further, I just want to let people know it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. You see me smiling there, it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's just it's joyous. It's joyous. It's a priceless job, but I love doing it.
but it's purpose.
Yes, most
It's
definitely.
purpose. And this is why I have this channel, because finding purpose is so important for young men, especially to have
Indeed.
something to do and to constantly have something to do. When I see persons that work in jobs for many years and they don't have any family and they don't have any kids and they're just working to work, they usually have this mundane personality to them or this mundane character, or they're almost like robots because they're living in a state of airplane mode. They're moving like a robot. They go to work, they go home, they go to work, they go home. They don't really interact with persons much, or they don't hang around people as much, and they don't have any family or a nuclear family of their own, at least. Well, they have to support or they have a reason to go to work and do more. So they're in that state of limbo, I think. And for a lot of young men, for me at least, I have the fear of losing all of that. You know what I mean? Having like kids, being married, and of course, divorce rates are there and loss of life. There's so many ways people pass
Okay.
away or in tiny circumstances. And I'm sure you cope with that for sure. And it's not something that's in the forefront because you're not divorced and you still have your family and what's not. But is that something that comes to mind sometimes?
Yes, I mean it's you have to be real about situations. We're human beings. We go through life. Things happen. Things usually happen that we don't plan for. I'm a firm believer in prayer, praying, keeping you strong spiritually. Pray with my family every single night. I allow my girls to pray as well so they could develop their own personal relationship with God as well. Believe in prayer is a very important part of my life. And like you mentioned, divorce and these things they are part of life. But the only thing I can do, or I can have control over is just number one, trying to become a better person every day. So I'm never gonna be perfect. I don't try to be perfect. In perfection. God is the only perfect person, a perfect being. So I believe in just becoming better, not trying to seek to get to the top of the ladder. Just keep getting better. Just keep climbing. Keep climbing. Don't put a cap on yourself. Just always try to become a better person every day. That's one of my firm beliefs.
Okay. Are you a person that is becoming better for yourself or for your family?
It's good question. Very good question. At this point in my life, it's for myself. Because I can say this because I have to become a better person for myself to be a better person for my family. Because
Okay.
if I'm not good, it's gonna affect how I deal with my family. So that's why I said spiritually, faith, prayer, ask God for guidance in my thoughts, my words, and my actions. Lead me, show me the way, so I can be able to be that to my family and to anyone I come into communication or contact with. So I think it's a personal thing for me, so that in that and then it can affect others that are close to me. If that makes sense.
It does. It's very clear what you're saying. What I'm getting is you should be the best person for you. So your output from that best person, it'll be the best that's to come from you. You put the best into you to put the best out. And that is
So
pretty straightforward. I think me as an individual, I push and I strive to do the same to be the best person that I can. Although I don't have like a family of my own, but I push to be the best person that I can as an aspiring leader, an aspiring provider, because I recognize really early that I can't pour out what I don't have. I can't put out something that I don't have. I can't be patient with someone if I'm not patient within myself. I
so
can't instill confidence in someone if I'm not confident within myself. So even on a spiritual level, I am going to ask you a question on a spiritual level. Even on a spiritual level, and circumstances or times, I would find myself pouring into persons things that I didn't even recognize that I had. but based on my experiences or my walk with Christ and what He would show me through the Holy Spirit, I would be able to put into persons and they say, you know what, I never thought about it that way, or I never saw it that way, or you're a smart person or wise person. And I don't think I'm the smartest or the wisest person. I may read, I may think, I may understand a lot of things that a lot of persons may not. But I find myself once again as an aspiring leader to be in that position. And I'm led to believe that you're also in a similar circumstance where persons will come to you for advice or they would ask you your insight because you're experienced, you've been there, you've done that, and you're grounded and stable as well. Young men, I'm sure I would have asked you some questions, but what's one question that you think is memorable and almost laughable that a young person asks you? Whether it be silly question, interesting question, a question you never heard before.
That's a good question. I remember someone asked me a question in reference to it was like, Dorian, how do you deal with all those women in the house? Yeah, I made a laugh, but yeah, they asked me, like, how do you deal, how do you manage that? I was like, it takes takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of understanding. Because between my three daughters and my wife, that's four different personalities I have to manage. Four separate personalities I have to manage. And the personalities are hiding two times. In the morning, getting ready for school, and in the night, going to bed. Those two times in my household, so I can pretty much call it a war zone. But I'm the orchestrator or sort that tries to mitigate the stuff within that war zone.
So you said the usually.
Yes, yes, I said it. And I'm speaking like every single day
Wow.
without fail, you know?
Is there a lot of thought behind it, or is it just based off of experience and practice or routine that allowed you to be to a way to handle that?
Initially, there was a lot of thought, but I gave my wife credit again. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put this mantle on you." She threw it on me. Initially, it
Oh,
was it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming.
it felt
I've
overwhelming.
done, yeah, it felt overwhelming, but I've done it so much now. Like I said, I know the personalities, so I know how to handle each individual. So now with the experience, I wouldn't say it's easy. I wouldn't go along the line to say that, but it's much more manageable than when we first started.
Okay. Well, my next question to you is, how has your leadership skills and character developed as a result of coaching?
Leadership skills and character development. That's a good question. So in the military, I'm a parade drill instructor. Humbly speaking, I'm a very good one. And I've told a few persons this before. I never knew, I never had any inclination that I would be that good at it. I just one day I was getting tested on tests, one of the tests we did in the military, and I just let everything flow. It wasn't no thought, it wasn't a flow. A particular person came to me and was like, this is pretty natural. You need to, you know?
Uh-huh.
And then from there, I just started to grow a passion for it. And with that passion, I had the ability to mentor and coach a lot of individuals. And that development has really shown me how much number one I'm capable of, and number two, how much I'm here to be of service to others.
Okay.
And that that service portion is the place that I really felt a love for, because to be in a position to watch someone change from when you first met them, you have a part in playing to see how much they develop within 12 weeks, 16 weeks. That's a feeling that I fully endorse, I fully love. And that's really developed me as a leader. I said I have the ability to not just coach and mentor, just to speak with persons, and help them with situations they may be dealing with due to being a coach and a teacher in that environment.
Okay. I can appreciate and respect that answer because a lot of persons that are in the environments to teach or to be an instructor or be a coach because you're a fitness coach as well,
So
right? I think a lot of persons, because what you're describing is very synonymous to what you described with growing up your kids. And you build not really an attachment, but you fall in love with the development of persons regardless of age, and
yes,
almost like planting a seed and watching the seed turn into a seedling and develop. And that
yes.
brings you great passion or great happiness and purpose as well. Now, to piggyback off what I asked you and how you answered, how was that coaching and being a drill instructor and being a teacher, how has that affected your family? As in, how have those skills that you acquired in those environments affected your methods of leading the house as your family?
But first and foremost, the drill instructor part of me, I don't bring that home. I definitely bring it home. The coaching part of it,
Yes.
especially with my oldest daughter, you know, yeah, there's times when we sit down, we have hard conversations. You know, she's 15 now, and we sit down and we speak about life. I try to have an open door where she is comfortable speaking to me, and as a father, that that has developed me as well. Because honestly speaking, usually when I'm in my fitness, usually speaking with males, with my daughter, it's different. So I feel as though from another spectrum, that has developed my leadership skills as well.
In a
Speaking to
positive way?
not just in a positive way, in a positive way.
Okay. My next question for you is, have you discovered your purpose? If so, what brought you to that realization that it was your purpose?
I can humbly say I fully discovered my purpose here on earth. That purpose is service to others. I really feel that I was put here to be of service to help others, to develop others, to impart knowledge on others. I feel as though that's my purpose, and I can say I got that from being on the playground in that environment, and being a fitness instructor as well. Being in that environment, like I said before, I got there. I would have never thought that I could have the confidence to speak in front of a large group of people, but not just speak at a high level or perform at a high level. I would have never thought that. And people see me today and they ask me like, "How do you do it?" I just tell them once I get in the environment, that this is after I pray and I speak to God. I just let it flow. It's not my thinking. It
There's not
just
much
flows.
thought behind it.
No, it just flows naturally. But on the next to piggyback on that, it can flow based on the practice and the commitment I put into my work and my craft. It's not just coming from nowhere, but I have a passion for it, so I practice it, I read, I study, and when opportunity comes, I just try my best to execute.
Okay. So when you mention passion, your passion is in the same category as your purpose, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Do you believe that everybody's purpose is their passion?
Good question. No, no, I don't believe that everyone's purpose is their passion.
In other words, if my purpose is to be an attorney, but I don't like the idea of being an attorney, like doing it, but like that's literally my purpose. Do you think that that's the case, or my purpose is going to be synonymous with my passion? Like, man, this is what I I come on the job and I'm like, wait, this I can't do nothing better than this.
Yeah, so I don't believe everyone's purpose is their passion, especially if the environment they're put in. Um, like you mentioned, if you're an attorney, it's your purpose. You necessarily don't have a passion for it. You have a passion for something else. So I can answer that by saying no. I don't believe everyone's purpose It's their passion.
Okay. For persons that may be in that predicament where their purpose isn't in the same category as their passion, what would you tell them, or how would you comfort them, or what advice would you give them when they're in such a state? Because I'm sure it'll be bad.
Honestly, tell them, hey, follow what you're passionate about because what you are passionate about will come to you easily or free flowingly. It won't take much effort or much thought. It will just come naturally. So follow that passion. Even though it may not seem like it may be the best decision in the moment,
Right.
but I believe that once you're passionate about something, it just brings out the best of you and your abilities in the long run.
So, in a weird way, if you're really passionate about something and you seriously take on that passion, it can become your purpose.
Agreed.
Okay. So now it leads me to ask you this good question that I'm thinking about right now. If there's persons that are really passionate about whatever it is they're passionate about, but they're not financially being able to pursue said passions enough so where they could
Mm.
kind of live off of it, what what would you say? Like, what would you tell them? How would you, because, you know, it seems like a hard thing to do. And that's a usual thing when
Mm.
people say, I have a passion for being an artist, but, I can't do it. I have to work a job. Or some persons are pastors, or they have a second job, or, you know,
So what I believe in a situation like that, if you're passionate about something but you're not financially able to start, find someone that's actually doing said thing that you're passionate about and seek to ask questions. Seek to pull on their coattail, per se. Seek to get close to them. Seek to gain some experience. You may not be able to pursue or gain what you're passionate about at a certain level, but you could start. Whether it be, like I said, just asking questions, receiving knowledge, watching, being hands on, whatever it takes. There's always someone out there doing something that you want to do who is open to helping. But the only way that you can find it out is by asking, seeking, knocking. Trust me, there is a way. There is a way. There's always a way. With God, there is always a way. Especially when we don't see a way, there is a
there's a way.
way.
You just haven't discovered it yet, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm listening to what you're saying. From what I'm getting is a lot of persons should seek mentorship, right?
Yes,
Seek mentorship. And mentorship is essentially persons that are where you want to be, where you're aspiring to be, someone who you'd look up
yes,
to, or persons who you'd go to for advice or a tutorial on how to get to where they are.
yes.
Have you, as a man, have you found someone as such, or have you had anybody as a mentor, or you're you're kind of on this discovery journey, walking down the road and dealing with life as is?
I have a few mentors, two in particular. Um, Another belief of mine is I feel as though God has put people here on earth to be of help to us. And there is always someone here doing something better than you who you can get that from. You can ask, especially a situation you may be dealing with. Someone has dealt with that same situation before, and someone you can help you with a situation. I have two mentors who I ask questions to, and who have really been integral in helping me to become the person that I am today. And I encourage, especially young men. It may be a cliche word, mentor. No, I don't want a mentor. I used to think, hey, I don't want a mentor. I don't need a mentor. Like, figure this out for myself. But no, seek to find one or two people, maybe three, and particularly older than you who've experienced some stuff who you can gain a lot from, and just sit down and speak with them, talk with them, ask questions. It goes a really long way in your development.
Wow. That's a very interesting take because you mentioned that, as a young person, you think to yourself, what I need a mentor for, what I need all of that for. Like, I don't need to, I'll just figure this stuff out by myself. I think about that as well, but I am mature enough now to realize that I don't know everything. I'm not, I'm not arrogant. I'm not overconfident in my own abilities. And I do know that there's men out there that does know better than I do from experience, or know that, hey, this is the proper way to do things. But for persons that are on a path that they haven't met a mentor or they haven't found persons in that crowd or well, like let's just say you're trying to do something completely crazy or out of the field, have an idea that is completely like no one would think about, and there's no mentor. What would you do?
Well, first thing I'm gonna pray about it.
Okay,
If I don't have a mentor, I'm going at it head on, taking it by the horns and accepting the challenge. And I'm gonna buck my toe, make some mistakes, but at the end of the day, those mistakes are gonna be learning points until I figure out what it is. Uh, Because again, we live in a world today that there's so much knowledge at our fingertips everywhere, and it's free.
hmm
You get to choose what you do with the information you hold. Though, can choose to spend the time doing unproductive things. People can spend their time doing a lot of productive things. It's your choice. At the end of the day, it's your choice. It's a plethora of knowledge out there. But just to go back on the question, if there was no mentor in place, I would just go at it head on, embrace it.
with God.
With God, yes, with God, embrace it and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Trust me,
Wow.
there's so much we're capable of.
And you really don't know unless you try, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna, change the tides now and get into character and personal growth for a topic and get a few questions from there as well. My question from this topic is, what does discipline mean to you personally?
Discipline is, if not everything, pretty much everything. I think it's a starting point for every individual to look for discipline in every aspect of life. I think once you're a disciplined individual, everything else pretty much flows off that. Whether it be discipline in your finances, discipline in your faith, discipline in your fitness, discipline with your family. I think once you gain that discipline, knowing, hey, doing what you have to do when you don't feel like doing it whatsoever, that's next level because that's a path least traveled. Like we mentioned initially when we first started to talk, society has taught us the quick way, the fast way.
hmm
Just get it, you know. What discipline teaches us is that there's gonna be a road that no one usually wants to travel, but that road brings forth the fruit after you travel that road. You feel fulfilled.
Interesting. Very interesting answer. I like the answer that you gave actually, because what I'm getting from you is essentially discipline is the fertilizer for growing.
Yes,
I think in its simplest form, discipline is the fertilizer for growth. You could grow a plant without discipline. You could definitely grow and develop as a person without discipline. But if you really want to nurture and breed environments, discipline is the fertilizer. Discipline is that extra boost to fast track you into whatever direction you're going in.
most definitely, most
Mm,
definitely.
I like that actually. I'm going to use that for later. Okay. What habit changed your life more than anything else?
I think waking up early. Waking up early. Yeah, I believe in waking up when it's quiet and you could hear yourself think, and that's the time where you firstly get into worship, hear God's voice. You get into whatever other routine you have for the day, whether it be some type of fitness routine, whatever you choose to do. But I believe in the habit of waking up early and getting my day started before anything else happens. I believe once I've woken up early, I believe I've won the day, and that's that habit. I believe is a really good one.
Okay. Wow. Wow, I'm loving this already. I don't know about you, but this is a really good conversation we're having thus far.
It is.
And
It is
and insight what I'm getting because really I am learning from you as a young buck myself. And
my pleasure.
you're in a circumstance and predicaments that from what I'm hearing is really fruitful. I'm learning about some tips and I'm getting some little tidbits, and I'm sure some persons that are gonna watch this podcast, however small or large, they may learn some things as well. Now, my next question is, and this is going to be one that I think I'm going to enjoy that you'll answer. When was a time you failed and it ended up being the best thing that happened to you?
That's a very good question. I failed. All right. So to get a bit more personal, me and my family would have just moved, complete move. And my wife, she was provided with an opportunity with work. Move. And she came to me. She told me, actually, have this opportunity to move. Somebody's different. You got to move with the kids and all that stuff. I'll be honest. Initially, when she told me it, I was like, no. I'm being honest. I was like, no, I wasn't for it. I was saying how we could do it. It's not gonna work, you know. And I call that failure because I wasn't looking at it from my point of view. I was just looking at it from my point of view, not being
Mhm.
objective. And then I had to sit back and understand that in this life, sometimes you have to take chances. Sometimes you have to get out of our comfort zone, as we call it,
Mhm.
and take a risk where we don't know what's gonna happen. I have no clue, but we walk with faith, not what we could see, but what we know, who we know.
I know your
So
faith is in.
God,
Wow.
always in favor.
So, how has that failure, what made it the best decision for you and your
Because
family?
I believe, sorry, I believe it's what my family needed. We needed a fresh start. We needed to be somewhere different, peace of mind, kids. And I think this is the best decision we would have made. I really believe so. Like I said, initially it didn't feel like, but being in it now, it is indeed a wonderful decision.
And it seems like they're happy as well, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Most definitely they are.
Okay. What is something you used to believe that you completely changed your mind about?
I used to believe that there was always good and bad in a situation. I mean, stay with me up. So I used to believe that no matter what happened, especially things that are unexpected things, I used to believe that there's good or bad. But now I have pivoted to believe that there's never bad. There's never a bad. There's always an opportunity to learn and grow. And whatever you take from the situation is what's gonna make you a better person. Sometimes we go through things and we say, "Hey, why is this happening to me? Why does that happen?" But I look at it from a different point of view. I look at it as a, hey, what can I learn from this? What have I learned from this? What would have recently happened that I can take from it and become a better person? That's something I can say I believe in now. There's never good thing, bad thing. There was always learning and growing.
Very good point. It's not what happens to you, but it's how you receive it or how you take from it and move on.
Yes,
Whether it be mistakes, learn from mistakes, whether it be good experiences,
yes.
memories or mistakes. Wow. I think that's something that I have in my book also, even in my journey with different experiences in life. I never ask God why it happened to me. I just ask God the strength or to help me get through. And I didn't look at the good and the bad side. I just look what can I learn and gain from said experience or what trial or error I would have been going through, whether it be, okay, how can I avoid this happening to me again? How can I make this more likely for it to happen? If it's a good thing, how could I make it happen again? Okay. I'm happy to know that I'm on the good path, by the way.
And also with experiences, how could you share this with someone else who might be going through the same thing you went through? And now you can help them with sad experiences.
Yeah. And I've been in situations like such where I could tell them from experience how to handle business when it comes to that department or that situation. And it would be, honestly, I'd be really pleased to tell people those stories or those experiences. It brings me joy to let them know, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm a testimony that, hey, you could do it
Yes.
too. I ain't that special. I ain't the chosen one.
Yeah. It
You could
did.
be just like me or better. Okay.
Yes, it did.
Now, my question to you now is going to be from a different category, and it's going to be from relationships and human nature. So, It's going to be really interesting. What has friendships taught you about loyalty?
That word friend is a very, very deep rooted word in my book. I can honestly say, persons who I call friends, I can count them on my hand because I believe a friend is an extension of family. And you mentioned loyalty. Friend is someone who should be loyal to you no matter what. I believe God has put people here that we can call friends who we can depend on, who can be sometimes even closer than family. So I'm a I'm a big proponent in friendship, even though I'm saying I don't have many friends.
No, but you have quality
But
friendships.
yes, I really have quality friendships, people who I value their opinions, value them, their personalities, and people who I love.
Very interesting take. I too have few friends, but very close
Yes.
friends, and they are reliable and they they're loyal as well. And I, as a young buck, would have had some friends that were disloyal. And I'm sure you would have had one or two friends that were disloyal or that would have taken advantage of your loyalty. But how was that for you?
It was disheartening, you know, but honestly speaking, people are gonna be who they are. They they can hide it as much as they want, but usually their true colors show out at some point. So, like I said, the word friendship, when I call people that, is people who I've known for quite some time,
Hmm.
people who I can depend on, who've shown me through past experience that they can be dependable and they can be loyal, and vice versa. But like I said, I've been stripped sometimes in the past, but that's a part of life. Like I said, it helps us to become better. If you haven't been through it yet, it's just not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And then it's just how you take it when it happens. You all go through things in this life.
Okay. And you said and mentioned, it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. I would have spoken to a previous guest and we spoke about heartbreak and how important it is for some persons to experience heartbreak. Have you experienced heartbreak to begin with?
Very, very, very long time ago. Very long time ago. Yes, a very long time ago. That's something I never want to feel again. I never want to feel again. But like I said, it was a very long time ago, and I think it's important for us to go through things of that nature, to go through emotions. I would have, not to pivot off the topic so much, I would have recently lost a loved one. Usually, um, what I try to do is to keep my mind clear. I try to go for a run or workout, but I was reminded by my wife that sometimes you just have to grieve. Allow yourself to feel those emotions because we're human. God
Hmm.
designed us to feel these emotions. He didn't design us to
Right.
run from it or try to mask it. But it was just a realization that, hey, sometimes you have to go through these things.
Well, as you said, your wife is your backbone and she definitely got you braced up right in that moment.
Yes,
And
she did.
I'm
She most
sure it's a
certainly did.
blessing. It's a blessing to have such a wife and a woman as such that is able to do a thing. And I'm sure she provided the room or the environment for you to feel comfortable to do so. And I commend her, honestly. I do commend your wife.
Thank you.
And I would hope to one day have a wife as such that'll afford such a environment or a presence. My
No
next
rush.
question to you is no, I'm not in no rush.
No rush.
And I'm gonna go off topic really quick. Persons all the time ask me if I have any kids or if I'm married, and I tell them no. And they be like, why you say it like that? Because I take that stuff very seriously.
Please
Just
don't.
like
Please don't.
persons that, have godchildren or being a godparent, I also take that very seriously. Enough so where I decline on an offer or a request to be a godparent. And persons may look at me and perceive me to be, like that's rude or that's disrespectful. But my reasoning or my mind behind it was I knew deep down me and that person's friendship or relationship, whatever level of magnitude was, that we weren't on the same level or on the same page. And the
Yes,
expectation what they had of me, I wasn't prepared to take on and keep because I would take it very serious. If I have someone who's a godparent to my kids and
yes,
me being in the military and I'm not able to pick up my kids or I'm not able to pick up my wife or handle business and my family, because I usually would ask my family to help me out and I can handle business, that's where they're able to step in.
yes,
And that's why I say once again, I take that very seriously. I take marriage very
yes.
seriously. I take godparenthood very seriously. And I would think that people should take their consideration wisely and really put some thought behind it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people take it so lightly.
Just to piggyback on what you would have said, it takes a level of maturity to do what you did. Person who believes in a moral compass. I
Hmm.
believe we should all have a moral compass of sort. And we don't just do things because we can do it. There's a purpose behind it, a reason behind it. Hey, I can't do that. I can't be that for you. Be honest, open, be truthful. And it helps in the long run.
I've been in environments, and I won't speak to one of those, but I've been asked to fill certain roles or be in certain positions or do certain things, and I would tell people no. In fact, some persons respect me more that I would tell them no instead of saying yes and not being able to fulfill the task. And that's something that I try my best to keep to that standard or level of integrity because I would say that me personally, I'm a reliable person or an individual. If you ask me to do something, I'm going to do my best to do it. And in a similar token, if you ask me and I say I can't do it, you're going to trust that I actually can't do it. Or there's a reason behind me declining said opportunities or roles. Now, my next question for you is what qualities make someone worth keeping in your life?
Honesty, 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 honesty. I believe that honesty is something that is so easy but yet so difficult. I believe we have in society we've have a problem with people being honest with one another. For whatever reason, you might not be honest because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or you want to be deceptive, but I believe that there's nothing once you're honest, everything would always come back together, no matter what it is in the situation. And I believe honesty is something is a key to keep someone in your life. Honesty and loyalty as well. But I think two of them go hand in.
I do think they're also synonymous. I think they are hand in hand. You can't be honest and disloyal. Like it just doesn't they coexist in the same environment, right? I would like to add that persons oftentimes will find a hard time being honest with persons because they're not honest with themselves too.
That's true.
As we
That's true.
spoke about earlier, you have to pour into yourself for you to be able to pour out. You can't pour out of an empty cup, right? So if you're lying to yourself enough, you're more than likely going to fall victim to being delusional. And we all
Yes.
know if a person is delusional, they'll tell you whatever, and you can take whatever they're saying seriously because they may not be lying, but because they lie to themselves, you can't possibly trust what they're saying to be true for reality. They're not in reality. And for a person that's not living in reality, you don't want to be at the whims of said persons at all. Now, in the topic of relationships and human nature, I'd like to ask you this question for, the young men that are seeking relationships or partners. What is a mistake men make when choosing partners?
Just going on physical attraction. I can definitely say that's the number one mistake men make. I believe when choosing your partner, you're gonna have to look deeper, extremely deeper. And I believe you're gonna have to choose or seek to learn that person for who they truly are. And some parts of that person knowing who they are, you may not like. But at the end of the day, you choose to love that person, if that makes any sense.
It does.
you choose to love them for who they are, who they naturally are, and knowing that this the person that who can make you one. And I believe that young men just are so enamored of physical attraction, and the Bible speaks about this, the Jezebel spirit and things of this nature.
Mhm. Mhm.
But you have to look past that. You have to look past. Try to seek to take time out to know this person, understand this person, develop some type of relationship with this person. Just think about intimacy right away. Seek to grow and learn. You know, it's gonna take time. Like we mentioned, time is something a lot of people don't like to consider when it comes in relationships. They just want it to happen like so. But once you understand that it's gonna take time, it's gonna take some bad days,
Right.
some bad days that you're gonna be willing to put up with, and then it's gonna be some good days, some very, very good days. Once you come to that understanding, then you can really find someone you're meant to be.
So what you mentioned, you mentioned, you know, going based off of looks is not ideal or it's not a good idea. S- It is important, don't you agree, to at least find the person that you're seeking out a relationship with to at least find them attractive?
Yes, of course that's important to find something that you're attracted to, but don't let it be the reason you want to be with that person. Let's say, okay, let's use for an example. Okay, you see said person, this person is very nice looking, but I get to know this person and their personality is just horrendous. Their habits are just horrendous, but they just can't get over how they look. They just look so
Boy,
amazing. But
listen, she
every
look good though. That's what they say. Boy, she look good though.
that's the
It's a
quickest way
bye,
to
boy.
understand me. Trust me. You know, it's deeper than
I
that.
I think me as a young man, despite the masses doing that, I've never found myself in that predicament or situation where I would stay with someone because they look good. I never had that issue or struggle. I would always listen to persons and think about, okay, what they saying right now. I don't like to accept it, but I do like to talk. I like to have conversations. And if I can't have a conversation with a person, that's a bad state. If I have a conversation, they seem to have like this animosity or this negativity or this pessimism, bad state. Or
Yep,
if they're just outright rude or disrespectful. And
all these things.
I think it's so, it's so common for persons to be outright rude and disrespectful to people, and it's so annoying when you're trying to at least be a decent person. We ain't perfect. We have our bad ways, but you trying with some people. You really do try, and they just got it within them to just provoke you to anger or say some things that you be like, you know what? Hey, man,
That
listen.
how I see it too. It pays nothing to be kind. It pays absolutely nothing. Thank you. Open the door. You're welcome. Good morning. It takes nothing off you. It takes more to be rude than to be kind.
You know, but for some reason, people like to go the extra way, the hard way.
Yeah.
There's more muscles. It takes more energy and effort to frown than to smile. And persons will just be hardworking. They just choose to work hard. They
Yeah,
want
they
the easy
chose to
way. They
be
want
kind
to do it the hard way. Now,
for
I've
whatever reason.
noticed, I noticed the time, and I know that you're a family man, so I'm gonna get you out, and I have about two more questions for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my first question before is, what does real love actually look like to you?
Real love is a choice. It's not a feeling. Definitely not a feeling. It's a choice. It's something you choose to do, no matter the circumstances, no matter how you may feel or they may feel. But it's a choice, and it's a choice that you've come to understanding that whatever it is you love, maybe a person, let's say it's a person, that you can choose to say, hey, I love you despite any other thing that may be going on with you or that may you be displaying. I choose to love you. And that is hard. That is indeed hard. But with it being hard, it is also rewarding. When I believe a lot of people don't understand that. If they will feel as though love can be something that they can buy, something they can say, possibly do, but it's a choice. And with that choice comes sacrifice.
Wow. That's very profound. I really do appreciate that. That love is a choice, and I do agree that love is a choice. Whether you accept that choice or deny that choice is completely up to you. But if you say you love someone, you have to choose that person.
So,
And my last question, really, really straightforward. If you
mhm.
could speak to your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
My 18 years up. Don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate.
Don't
Do it.
procrastinate about what?
Now, about whatever it is you want to do. You said you want to do something. You said you want to go somewhere. At that age, go do it. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate and don't seek validation. Don't seek validation. If it means doing something by yourself, go ahead and do it. That's the two things I'd say to my 18-year-old self. Don't procrastinate. Don't seek validation.
Do you think the 18-year-old of you version of you would believe who you are today?
No, no, no stretching in my
My gosh. Oh man. Dorian, I really do appreciate this conversation that we had. And I do appreciate the insight that you would have brought on these questions. And I have a lot more questions, but hopefully I could have you here on another session and we could get forward to those other questions. But I know you're a family man. You have business to tend to, as you said. So I appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to say before we go?
Aaron, I just want to say again, I thank you for the opportunity you would have given me, and I enjoyed it so much. I just waiting for you to give me another invite so we can come on here and talk again. Appreciate you. I've always appreciated you, and I just want to encourage you to hey, keep doing the thing. I'll be here listening and I'll be here waiting for the next invite. And I'm encourage all my young men out there to hey, if you need someone to speak to, hey, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just get out there.
Well,
Thanks.
Dorian, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Redemption Podcast with my guest, Dorian. We appreciate it. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe for more podcast sessions. And if you have found this video insightful, impactful, this conversation, I ask that you do share it with other persons, young bucks like me, or all the bucks who seem to be lost. There's some men out there, but
Yeah, everyone. That's for
leave a
everyone.
like for everyone. Whoever is willing to receive the knowledge, let them receive it. All right. Thank you,
Man.
Dorian.
All right. Peace out, man.
Take care.